Is it still possible to grow on YouTube this year? Well, let's take a look at some stats. Almost 5 billion videos are watched on YouTube each day. YouTube gets over 30 million visitors per day. And 6 out of 10 people prefer online video platforms to watching live TV. These are just a couple of the stats that I pulled from the article that I'll link fully down below. But why am I telling you this? Because with stats like these, that means people are watching content on YouTube, and they're watching a lot of it. So if you've been thinking about creating content on YouTube, why haven't you started yet? Or if you are creating content on YouTube, but you're not growing as fast as you'd like, that's what we're gonna address in today's video. I've been on YouTube consistently for the past 3 years. So here are the tips that I have picked up along the way for aspiring YouTubers. The first tip that I have for you is to take time to craft your intro. One of the other interesting stats that I learned from that article is that approximately 20% of the people that click on your video will leave after the first 10 seconds of it. And if we look into the backend stats of YouTube, one of the metrics that they specifically call out is how well your video did in the first 30 seconds. So we know that the first 30 seconds of a YouTube video are crucial to determine how well your video will do because YouTube itself is telling us just that. And if most of your video retention looks like this, that might mean that you need to tighten up your intro in order for it to start looking like this. The straighter the line of your video, the better it will do. And there are a few things that you can do to make your intro better. Number one is to cut the fluff. And this honestly applies to all of your video. You want to only be giving valuable information to your viewers, but especially in the intro. You want to hook them as quickly as you possibly can. I try to get into the meat of the content within the first 30 seconds of the video. You don't need a crazy long intro. People already know what the video is and why they are there. You don't necessarily need to tell them in a very long, drawn out way. They've already decided they want the content, so give it to them as quickly as possible. You also need to grab their attention. TikTok and other short form contents have made our attention spans really, really low. So you need to grab people's attention. Jumping around and doing a few different scenes, or maybe even adding B-roll to the first 30 seconds of your video, or saying something that will grab their attention and make them want to learn more. For example, the intro of this video, I started out by giving you 3 insane stats about YouTube. Those stats are going to be interesting to people who are looking to start YouTube. Hopefully that grabbed your attention enough to keep watching. I also try not to have a very clunky intro and make it flow into the rest of the content. I used to have this long intro about who I was, what the channel was, and make sure to subscribe and all of that different stuff. And then I had a pretty long stinger that had music and showed my channel name. I decided to cut all of that out. It was not needed. And my watch time retention got so much better. I hate to say it, but most people watching probably don't care about you. They care about the problems that they have and the ones that you are going to solve. Over time, they may start to care about you, but the general population is only really going to care about the information that you are going to give them. So they don't really care what your channel's about. They may never watch another video from you again. It's nothing personal, it's just the truth. So you want to get them to that content as soon as possible. That being said, it doesn't mean that over time they won't start to care about who you are and won't watch more of your content. But at the beginning, when you are first starting out, you just want to get valuable content out as quickly as possible. So don't worry about long intros or transitions or stingers to say what your name is, and don't even bother to ask them to subscribe. Chances are they don't know who you are. This is the very first video that they've watched from you, and in the first 30 seconds of the video, they don't even have any useful information from you, so why should they subscribe? I've opted to take asking people to subscribe out of my videos altogether, except for at the very, very end in my outro, and instead I do a nonverbal call of a pop-up of a subscribe button instead. Because if people want to subscribe, they're going to, and if they don't want to subscribe, you asking them to is not really going to change their mind. The next thing to learn as a new YouTuber is the title and the thumbnail is super important. You really want to plan out and make the title and the thumbnail the best that it can be, because that is going to be the first thing that people see. It doesn't matter how highly produced or amazing your video is. If no one actually clicks to watch the video because the thumbnail and the title didn't catch their attention, it doesn't matter how amazing your video is. So really craft your thumbnails. Mine have come a long way, honestly, and I've actually started editing old thumbnails to make them better, because it doesn't matter what the content behind the thumbnail is if they never actually get a chance to see it. So if you see some old thumbnails that you don't really like, feel free to go back and change them, because the content behind them can be the same, but if you get people to click, they might actually stay for that content. I just talked about thumbnail editing in my last video, which you can find up there, but here are a few tips to get you started on thumbnail editing. Take a lot of photos beforehand. Right after I figure out the title, I am planning out what my thumbnail is going to be. And then before I record the video, I take a bunch of different thumbnail photos in a bunch of different poses with a bunch of different facial expressions, so I have options to choose from. You want to actually plan out and grab still photos of your thumbnails instead of just grabbing some random frame in the middle of your video, because that's going to look blurry likely, it's probably not going to be very well lit, and it's not going to look very intentional. And when it comes to YouTube thumbnails, you want to keep it simple. Less is in fact more. If you look at the thumbnails of a lot of your favorite YouTubers, they probably aren't very busy. And one of the reasons for that is thumbnails are really small and your viewers are never going to see them full sized as you do. So if you put a bunch of small text or small details in your thumbnail, no one is really going to be able to see it when it's actually scaled down to YouTube size. So if you are editing a thumbnail in Canva, go ahead and use the zoom bar at the bottom and scale it down to about 15 to 20%. And then ask yourself, does this thumbnail still have the same impact as it did full size, and is it readable? If the answer is no, you might want to make your text a little bit bigger or your thumbnail less cluttered. I have so many tips that I can give you about editing thumbnails, and if you want them, make sure to check out the video that I will link above. Now, thumbnails are important. However, what's even more important is the starting idea of your video. You can have the best title, the best thumbnail, the best video. However, if no one actually cares about the topic that you're talking about, none of that stuff matters that much. If everything else is great, but the video idea isn't interesting to people, you've already lost. This is why researching your video ideas before you press record is super important, because you don't want to waste a bunch of time making an awesome video to find out that no one actually cares about the content you're producing anyway. This is why I love the tool that I use called vidIQ. It is an absolute game changer when it comes to my YouTube channel. I make sure I put all of my video ideas through vidIQ before I create them. There is a free version, but the $10 version is simply unmatched. You get access to their website where you can get a lot of information about competitors, about your channel. You can look up keywords for your channel. It is honestly worth the money that I pay. I may actually create a whole video on this tool if you're interested in learning more about vidIQ. So let me know down below in the comment section if you're interested in learning more about it. One of the things that I think new YouTubers miss when they're first starting out is they think that production quality is everything. And while yes, it is useful, it really isn't the bread and butter of your video. Production quality is not as valuable as the content that you are presenting. There are a ton of YouTubers out there that are using their smartphones to create YouTube content. Don't believe me? Let's check out the old channel of mine, Crafting Queen. As you can see, it has been a long time since I uploaded, but check out how many views the last video that I uploaded has. This video, and in fact all of the videos on this channel, were shot using my smartphone. However, the last video that I uploaded has an insane amount of views, more than any views that is on this channel right here. And the reason for that is because the content is good. The production quality is not great, but the quality of it is good. And it's also ranking in first page on Google and the SEO, and there's a lot of other things that go into why this video is doing well, but you can see that production quality doesn't matter as much as the content that I am giving. So that just goes to show you that you can start with your smartphone and still do really well. However, I'd like to clarify, does that mean that you can have a really crappy quality video in terms of audio, lighting, video, all of that, and still do well? Maybe. I'm not saying that production quality doesn't matter at all. Sure, it would be better if you had good audio, a good camera, a good set of lights, different things like that. But you can have the best gear, but if what you're saying isn't interesting to people, it doesn't really matter. Now, I mentioned that one of the reasons that video is doing so well is SEO, despite having a subpar production quality. And that's honestly true. One of the things that I wish new YouTubers knew was the fact that YouTube is a search engine, and SEO is really important on this platform. How-to videos are some of the most popular videos on this platform. People will search for solutions to their problems. So if you want to grow on YouTube, create videos that are going to be solving people's problems. And you may be thinking, well, I want to create a gaming channel, or I want to create a makeup channel. You guys are still solving people's problems. Personally, the content that I watch on YouTube more than anything is gaming content. And that solves a problem. I want to be entertained. I want to relax after work. People want to get away from the real world. Those are still problems that you're solving. So go ahead and create those Let's Plays or those cool makeup looks, because there is still a need for entertainment. However, I would recommend creating some how-to content along with that. Maybe how to play this video game. What is the best way to get this thing? How to beat this video game quickly, how to do this sort of makeup routine, how to do whatever it is that you are doing in your videos, and kind of mix those in with the entertainment videos to help you do a little bit better. If you are in the how-to niche like me, the best thing to do is make a list of what you think the burning questions in your audience is going to be. And don't be afraid to get too simple. I put out a video once that is how to create a Pinterest board. I thought this video was going to tank. I did not realize that people didn't know how to create a Pinterest board because I have been using Pinterest for far longer than I have been doing it in my business. However, that video has a couple thousand views, which was a lot for my channel at the time and honestly still is a lot for my channel. So don't be afraid to even get super specific and super simple because something that you think might be simple may not be simple for other people. And one of the ways you can make sure people are looking for those questions is to put your video ideas in vidIQ, because the sooner you can get ranked in YouTube search and start answering people's questions, the sooner you can start growing. Next thing to learn is quality over quantity. I'm sure you are watching some big YouTubers who are posting 5 times a week or even multiple times a day across multiple channels. And yes, posting more will likely increase your chances of growing. Obviously, the more content that you have out, the more chances that you have to attract viewers and grow. However, what you likely don't see behind the scenes of the big YouTubers is the team that they have to be able to put out that content. They have thumbnail editors, they have YouTube video editors, they have a team of people that is helping them put out their content. They're not putting out this content all on their own. And not only that, but they're doing this full time, so they have a bunch of time to dedicate only to their job. If you are a one-person show, you need to focus on quality over quantity. That will get you further in the beginning. YouTube is a slow burn. It takes a while to take off. But once you start growing, the easier it is to keep growing. Personally, for me, I think 1 video a week in the beginning is perfect. The next new YouTuber tip is super important, which is to focus on the viewer first and the money second. Chances are you started a YouTube channel because you realized that you could make some money doing this. However, it's going to take a long time for you to get there. The first thing you need to do is worry about what the viewer wants first. What videos would they like? What questions do they have? What problems are they having? And then after you've answered those questions, you can focus on the money aspect of things. What products can I recommend in order to solve those problems? Can I create any products or services that will help them with their problems? Now, this doesn't mean that you can't start asking yourself these questions right off the bat, but it will be easier when you have an audience to answer these questions and also answer them correctly. Because if you focus on the money first and you decide to put out a product, you're going to put all this time into a product that likely no one is going to want to buy anyway. So you want to focus on the viewer first because those are the people that are going to be watching your content. They're going to be trusting you, clicking on your affiliate links, signing up for your services, and buying your products. If there is one thing I wish new YouTubers knew more than anything, it's that your videos will get better over time. And this may seem obvious, like I hope after a bunch of practice my videos will get better over time, but I think a lot of people tend to look at this wrong. They don't focus on the fact that it takes time to create better videos because they are so worried about putting out bad content. They want things to be perfect before they start putting up videos, and that's not how it works. You need to put up the bad videos before you can get to the good videos. That's how you learn. Typically, you don't just start out being good at making videos. And even now, a few years into this, I just edited a vlog that I wasn't particularly happy with. However, I put that vlog out anyway. And the reason for that is I will get better at doing vlogs. I have been doing this consistently on this channel for 2 years at this point, and I've only been doing vlogs for the past couple months, and I haven't done very many of them. So of course, I am not good at doing vlogs yet. That doesn't mean that I can't teach what I preach and put out videos that I'm not super happy with because I will eventually get better at them. And that's okay. Now this next tip is probably going to be a hard pill for a lot of us to swallow, but you don't want to compare your journey to someone else's. We have such an ease of access into other people's lives with social media being around, and we can scroll for hours and see how well people are doing compared to us. But the thing is, you don't know half of what other people go through on social media. You just see the highlight reel of people's lives. Even if you think you know someone on social media, chances are you really don't. So while it may look like they have grown their following overnight or they are effortlessly making money online while you are grinding for your next dollar, you honestly have no idea what they did to get there. Like for example me, if I hadn't just shown you my old channel, chances are most of you wouldn't even know that channel existed. And I did that channel for a full year before I started this one. There is a ton of years of trial and error, even before that channel existed, of me grinding on YouTube and trying to learn the platform and putting out videos that absolutely sucked. Chances are the person that you are comparing yourself to did a lot of things that you will never see either. So when you're scrolling through your social media and you're comparing your growth to another person's, just remember that. And also, everyone grows at their own pace. so don't rush it. One of the things that I think gets missed out on in videos is the outro of your video. Even though it's the end of the video, you still want it to be valuable and keep people watching up until the very end. And then you want to send them to another video to keep watching your content. A good way to do this is to not let people know the video is ending. For example, if you are doing the 10 best ways to do X, when you get to the last part of the video, the last 2 or 3 numbers, don't tell people that it's point number 10. Just say the next thing is, or one of the other things I think about, or whatever. Say some other transitioning thing that isn't, and number 10 is, because that signals to people that the video is ending and they may not listen for the last point, or the moment they realize you're done talking about that point, they're gonna dip. I also like to have anything that I say to flow super nicely into the outro and kind of surprise them that your video is ending. Keep your ending short and sweet, even if it seems abrupt. And you can do this by directing people to another video. YouTube gives you the tools to have cards pop up and even a subscribe button as well. So make sure you use those. For example, my outros normally look like this. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out this one right here on how to finally start a YouTube channel. Like this video if you liked and subscribe to my channel down below for more videos just like this. Bye!